The shade that has been rightfully thrown by the 2024 U.S. women's gymnastics team is probably the best comeback and one of the Olympic highlights. And now they have all been blocked. So here's what's going on. So a few months ago, MyKayla Skinner, a former gymnast, made a YouTube video talking down on the current women's gymnastics team. She said the talent and the depth in gymnastics isn't what it used to be because a lot of the girls just don't work as hard and lack work ethic. MyKayla got the 2 seconds of fame she was craving and a truckload of backlash. Of course, she did apologize and she even deleted the video, but the damage had been done. Anyways, fast forward to the same women's team winning a gold medal on the ongoing Olympics in Paris. Simone took to her Instagram to celebrate, but the catch was in the caption. She wrote, "Lack of talent, lazy, Olympic champions." MyKayla didn't like it because she has now blocked everyone in that photo. To make it worse, the comments ate her up even more. Honestly, this was the level of petty we all needed. But loves, can you believe this video was never meant to be about that feud? I was just wrapping up a story on Simone Biles' incredibly costly journey to fame. She endured body shaming, racism, and battles with her mental health, and now she's dealing with a husband who seems to despise her every move. This is an intensely heartbreaking dive into the reality faced by one of the most celebrated and decorated gymnasts of our era. Despite her 23 gold medals, even Simone hasn't been spared from the relentless toxicity of the sports world. Let's get into it.
Thank you for the opportunity to share my story with this committee and for bringing light to the crisis of abuse in amateur sports. Your commitment to ensuring the safety of gymnasts and all amateur athletes is appreciated, important, and necessary to ensure nothing like this ever happens again.
6 years ago, Simone Biles made an incredibly personal and brave statement about her SA experience by team doctor Larry Nassar. At the time, Larry was facing charges of gross misconduct against minors. We're talking about 140 Olympians, guys, 140. Simone made her statement just a day before Nassar's sentencing, revealing that even though the process broke her, she was a survivor and no longer afraid to share her story.
She is a 4'8" giant.
Five-time Olympic medalist Simone Biles, one of the biggest stars in gymnastics, now saying she too was sexually abused by team doctor Larry Nassar.
The saddest part of these cases is that many of the accusers have spoken up about the doctor's inappropriate behavior, yet people turned a blind eye. Grown adults who were supposed to protect these young athletes allowed this to happen right under their noses for years. There is no way that they didn't know Nassar was doing this to the girls. 140.
I don't want another young gymnast, Olympic athlete, or any individual to experience the horror that I and hundreds of others have endured before, during, and continuing to this day in the wake of the Larry Nassar abuse. To be clear,
Take your time.
To be clear, I blame Larry Nassar, and I also blame an entire system that enabled and perpetrated his abuse.
The sports world is often much darker than we see. So many issues are swept under the rug, and athletes are sometimes guilt-tripped for speaking up. They're expected to suck it all in and still be mentally and physically fit to perform at their best. But Simone's story doesn't end there, and neither does it get better, at least not immediately. You see, SA isn't the only horrible thing that Simone has had to deal with and speak out against. Even as the world's best female gymnast, she hasn't been shielded from despicable criticism and racism. Because of her skin color, Simone has been treated very differently from her counterparts. Imagine making your nation proud on a global scale, yet back home people keep reminding you that your achievements don't count because you're short and built like a man. Yep, that is Simone's reality every day. Simone has revealed the shocking truth about the mistreatment and discrimination of female athletes of color in the Olympics. She talked about how they're often picked out and punished for things that don't make sense, especially just before competitions where they're likely to win. Remember when Sha'Carri Richardson person was suspended just days before the Olympics for smoking legal cannabis, or when the International Swimming Federation banned swim caps designed for black women's hair type, one of the strangest and most unfair things was barring black women from competing because they supposedly had higher testosterone levels. The worst part, South African runner Caster Semenya was told to either take medication to lower her testosterone or not compete at all. This came from the same Olympic body that claims to celebrate exceptional levels of human achievement. It is mind-blowing and heartbreaking. If you thought we covered all of Simone's struggles, think again. You see, Simone Biles has ADHD, but that is not the issue. The real problem is how the world found out. So apparently her medical documents were leaked to the public after a cybersecurity attack. And of course this happened just days before a major competition. By now you can already tell how this would have played out, right? The next thing you know, people were questioning if her ADHD medication gave her an unfair advantage at the Olympics. Seriously? What a joke.
And there it is.
This morning, America's Golden Girl targeted.
She's just got so much power.
Simone Biles, one of the victims of the latest cyber attack. Hackers circulating confidential medical records belonging to some of Team USA's star athletes. The leaked documents reveal 19-year-old Biles tested positive for methylphenidate, a typical stimulant for treating ADHD. The International Gymnastics Federation approved her use of the medication.
Can you believe that Simone had to defend herself to a bunch of lazy couch potatoes that she was trying to make proud at the Olympics? I have ADHD and I have taken medication for it since I was a kid. Please know I believe in clean sport, have always followed the rules, and will continue to do so as fair play is critical to sport and is very important to me. How can one person deal with all this? My goodness, what exactly are people going through that they find so much joy in trying to tear others down? All right, moving on to probably the worst thing that she's currently dealing with right this moment, her insecure, disrespectful husband who has low self-esteem and uses every moment he gets to put Simone in her place. You'd hope that Simone's personal life wouldn't be as crazy as her career, but nope, it could even be worse because betrayal from a spouse hits different. As we recently witnessed firsthand, her husband, the man who should be her #1 cheerleader, never wastes an opportunity to tear her down. What he said in the Pivot podcast last year was beyond disgusting and utterly unnecessary.
How in the hell did you pull Simone Biles?
You really how she pulled me, man. That's the question.
Oh,
man.
Lord Jesus.
I always say the men that catch.
But let's put a pin on that for a second, because guys, for you to understand why people have been literally begging Simone to leave her husband, we need to start this story from the top. And heads up, this man was a walking red flag from the get-go. All right, here we go.
One night I broke down. That really hurt that they were talking about my husband like that. Because for me, it's like, talk about me all you want, but don't come for my family. Never.
You see, when Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles popped out with her new boyfriend, professional football player Jonathan Owens, everyone was happy for her. Shortly thereafter, more information about their relationship hit the internet, leaving many people wondering if Jonathan is truly the right fit for her. Simone, her life to gymnastics, so much so that even at the age of 20, she still hadn't been in one real relationship. Before meeting her husband, she had only been on one proper date and had a brief stint in a relationship. Bear in mind that while on the one hand, Simone was a successful gymnast, she was equally extremely sheltered. Anyways, while on an invite-only dating app called Raya, recommended to her by a friend, Simone met a guy she liked, swiped on him, they got talking, spent lots of time together during COVID, and eventually got married. And here is where the drama kicks in, folks. While everyone was cheering for Simone's new love, little did they know that the Pandora's box was about to open. Jonathan Owens, though charming and successful in his own right, seemed to have a knack for stirring up trouble. From the beginning, there were whispers about his less than stellar track record with relationships. People began digging up old interviews and social media posts, and what they found was shocking, to say the least. The public completely canceled Jonathan when he showed up at the Pivot podcast, and every single question he was asked about their relationship was basically a moment to stroke his ego. It wasn't just the fact that he said he was the catch. He said that Simone was the one who pursued him, that he wasn't ready to commit because he had just gotten a new signing and was hoping for bigger things, which basically meant he was buying time with Simone as he hoped to grow bigger and get a better woman. And he kept going on and on and on about how Simone was constantly on his case, and even revealed that she drove 45 minutes to his house on their first date and he didn't even have to lift a finger. This whole thing made Simone look so bad and so desperate that people couldn't help but note notice that this man had a low self-esteem issue. Oh, and did I mention that he even said he didn't know who Simone Biles was, as he was always busy chasing his career that never picked up? However, people came in quick with receipts proving he did actually know Simone years before they hooked up. Upon further digging, people uncovered more disturbing truths about Jonathan. Not only did he have a history of making questionable comments about women, but he also seemed to enjoy basking in the spotlight a little too much. Many wondered if he was more interested in Simone's fame than Simone herself. And to make it even worse, Jonathan had a habit of making offhand remarks that could easily be construed as body shaming or just plain insensitive. Would you believe that this man would often joke about her height and body, knowing too well that the public was already bullying her about the same? This situation became even more heated when fans started to notice how Jonathan would often post pictures that seemed to highlight his physique while subtly undermining Simone's. The whole podcast situation was literally a hot mess. Like, dude, read the room. This isn't locker room banter, this is your wife. Many of Simone's fans were outraged while others were completely disappointed. But the worst part, Simone, being the absolute queen she is, tried to brush it off with grace and dignity. But should she really have to? She even went online to defend her man, promising to block anyone who trolled him. He couldn't even finish what he started and had Simone out here defending his shenanigans. I'm going to quickly address this. The joke was never a joke. Y'all are blatantly being disrespectful to my relationship and my husband. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this one time. Respectfully, F off. And if you keep commenting or tweeting at me, I'm just gonna block you. Simple as that. And no, I don't need to touch grass or whatever TF y'all suggested. Everyone else who supports us, we love y'all so much. May this kind of love never locate you, loves. Simone has been doing the most to prove her love for Jonathan, who just sits pretty and probably twists out his hair the whole day or something because he is the catch. Even though Jonathan has been trying to look like a 10 after the podcast incident, people are practically still begging Simone to leave this man. What's funny, no one ever calls him by his name. They refer to him as Simone Biles' husband. All in all, many are still convinced that Jonathan Owens is a ticking time bomb ready to explode at any moment. Many have pointed out that while he may be charming and handsome in Simone's eyes, his behavior reeks of insecurity and jealousy. Plus, the man is obviously lacking in maturity and emotional intelligence. Deep down, he wishes to be the one basking in Simone's level of fame and achievement, but, well, his upcoming football career is really taking off. In his dreams. Remember when I mentioned that Simone was extremely sheltered? Well, that's a key piece of the puzzle. Simone's sheltered upbringing means that she might not have recognized these red flags early on. She's new to the dating scene, and Jonathan, with his charisma and athletic prowess, seemed like the perfect match. Let's just say that all that glitter is gold, and no, Jonathan is neither glittering nor is he gold. Despite all the disturbing challenges in her career and personal life, body shaming, racism, a troubled marriage, and ADHD, Simone continues to rise above it all. Her journey has been nothing short of tragic, but it is also a testament to her incredible strength and resilience. And guess what? The 2024 Olympics are already underway, and Simone is making her country proud once again. In the end, all we can do is hope that Simone finds the happiness and support she truly deserves. And as for Jonathan, well, at least he should be lucky he held the title of being Simone's husband. Thanks, loves, for watching, and see y'all in the next video.